Great. So,
Yep.
as you know, the most consequential news of the last week is that Anthony Fantano gave the new Mount Erie album an 8 out of 10 instead of 10 out of 10 like it deserved. No, 11 out of 10. So in this deep state of mourning I'm in, I think we should talk about something that's very stimulating. Let's talk
very
about eyes.
stimulating.
You know, I think we should make a new version of Story of the Eye, but it's about gay sex, and we call it the Story of the Yas.
So anyway, this is the second part of the Story of the Eye, which we are doing. We finished the book.
Yes, we did.
It's interesting. It's an interesting book indeed.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I want to ask you, how's your opinion of the whole little short story now that you finished it, and maybe even read a bit ahead to? There's a whole part about coincidences, which is like him talking about like his life while writing the book, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you think about it after you finished it?
Well, it's definitely not what I expected at all.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the first thing that I have ever read of George Bataille.
Yeah.
And before this, I've heard of the Accursed Chair. Other than that, I've no idea who that guy is. And now I've read The Story of the Eye. It's not a very good narrative, like story. You won't be like enthralled in the deftly etched characters or anything like that. But
I'm very invested in the narrative arc of the balls.
I mean, yeah. Of the eye. That is the eye.
Yes.
Everything is the eye. But you will find something you won't find much of anywhere else.
And what is
I mean, that's what we're here to talk about.
Well, yeah, but like, you know, how would you say in your words?
I don't know. It's like, it's a very weird, I guess, a weirdly open, weirdly confident and like transgressive text that wants to like really get out into okay, here's the thing. I've been reading about Lacan more during this week, which I finished the book. So you will see a lot of Lacanian theory coming into play here. But I think
theory, you mean?
Yeah. Lacanian theory indeed.
Oh my god.
You'll see a lot of Lacanian theory coming into play here. I don't know if it's even you know, if it's appropriate, but I'll do it anyway because I'm as pretentious as one can ever be. Anyway, I do think it's like a very interesting, a very, as I said, transgressive text that really gets into the real, that really has no, absolutely no, like, what do you call it, inhibitions to like show, to say what it wants to do, and I mean do what it wants to do basically. It's a big, I mean, I wish I had read this before making like the Erogura video. I mean, although I don't,
so much like, I mean, probably, you know, it's French, and I think your video is more of a documentary. And you know, I think with that you did the best job you could, but with this new context, you probably would have said something different as well.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
But yeah, so okay, we'll do a little summary first, right? And then we'll talk about it in general. Yeah.
Yeah, oh my god. So, we started in chapter 9, Lewd Animals. So let's see.
Before this, Marcel died.
Yeah.
Killed herself, sorry.
Yeah. And well, you can take it away.
Okay, I'll talk in broad strokes because I don't have notes or like summary next to me. But yeah, Marcel killed herself, and then Simone and the narrator flee Simone's place, and then they go to Spain, right?
Yes.
They go to I don't remember the exact place, Seville or something.
Yeah, I don't know the name either, but they're staying with a guy called Sir Edmund.
Yep, he's
also,
he's a weird guy, a very weird guy.
A sugar daddy situation, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know, like just odd guy who is really into whatever the hell the main characters are doing.
Yeah, and like, you know, he's also, as I guess, depraved. I don't want to use like those kind of words, but yeah, he's also very into weird sex and fetish stuff as the main characters are. Then the next big thing that happens is that they go to a bullfight, or like not a bullfight, but like a matador thing, right?
Yeah, they call it a bullfight, but I think it's half bullfight, half. Wait, I don't think you kill the bulls, and like it's a thing where matador is like where you just like play it around.
Exactly.
And bullfight is where you actually kill it, I guess.
I think it's called matador, or do you call the guy matador? Let me check actually. Matador, a bullfighter who is a guy. It is a bullfight then.
Okay, yeah, it's a bullfight then. Yeah.
So they go to a bullfight, and then they see a man named I forgot his name.
Granero.
Granero.
Granero. Well, he's the guy who's the famous bullfighter. I think there's some other guy.
Yeah, I think that's a real guy. I think so.
Yeah.
And then they see the guy fight the bull, but then Simone, being Simone, asks for the bull's testicles. And then Sir Edmund gets her the bull's testicles, and then as the bullfighter, the matador, is like injured and his eyes pop out, Simone inserts the testicles into her vagina. And then afterwards they go into like a church, and then Simone,
like I don't really get what's happening really.
Okay, so they go to a church, and then Simone sits in the confessional chamber. Is that what I think that's what you call it? And then she begins to confess, but as she's confessing, she's also jerking off. And then she then goes over to the the padre, I guess, the priest's chamber, and then she opens it and she looks at the guy, and his name is Don Armadillo or something.
Yeah.
Is it Armadillo?
I think it is. I think it is.
Wait, what the fuck is Armadillo? I think that's a Pokemon or something. No, it's not a Pokemon. That's an actual animal. Okay.
I don't remember what the name of the guy is, but yeah,
it's something.
The priest.
I'm gonna call him Armadillo from now on. That's all.
Yeah.
And then the priest, the father, the padre, he's hard. He has a hard on.
It's Don Aminado.
Well,
that was
okay,
close.
That's
that was
fine.
close.
Armadillo.
I'm imagining the Pokemon version of this now.
The Don Armadillo. He has a hard on, and then they do a lot of bizarre fucking shit. The narrator pisses into his nostrils. And then later on, I think, and then the priest is like, you're all wretches, fucking sacrilegious stuff, but I'm also bad because I have a hard on, and then I think Sir Edmund makes Simone strangle the guy, the priest, as he has a boner, and like as they're fucking, and then he dies with his as he ejaculates, and then afterwards Simone asks Sir Edmund to pluck out his eye, and then she inserts it into her vagina, and then the narrator and her fuck, and then okay. Here's the thing, I don't want to say I like. Okay, I really like the part where it's like there is a narrative arc of spectacles that's happening. We started with the orgy. And then we had the eggs, we had the bull's testicles, but now everything comes together in when I think there's a part where the eye, like it sticks out from her vagina, and then she's also pissing, so it looks like the eye it's crying, and that's like
tears.
Tears. But the narrator sees that the eye is blue and it's actually Marcel's eyes, and that's like holy fucking shit. I really like that part. It's like a really it's like a narrative convergence, like a spectacular convergence of all the symbols and like all the stuff, the depraved stuff that we've seen into a singular moment of like spectacle,
utter
basically.
terrible spectacle.
Yeah.
And it's just wow. Like I don't know. Like I'm sure because the copy of the book I had, like the first half is the story and the other half is analyzing what the fuck it means. So there's there's so much of like what is there potentially, but it's just the way all of this comes together is already like mind blowing.
And also, I think
unlike anything I've ever read.
A really interesting, a really fun part that I remember is that when they encounter the priest, and then they bring out the Eucharist thing. I'm not a Christian, so I don't know the terms. But it's basically the wine and the bread, right? Or the wafers, I think. Anyway, so the wine is supposed to be Jesus's blood. But the thing is, it's a white wine, so it was never supposed to be his blood. It's actually his urine.
Well, that's what they say. I don't think that's. I don't think that's right.
I know. And it's probably not correct, but I really okay. I think it really ties back into the transgressive nature of the book itself. I think, and obviously, the final chapter is literally them defiling a priest. So yeah. And then, of course, eggs, eyes, urine, semen, everything really connects. And then vagina itself is the vagina itself is like it's like an eye, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen one? Of course. I mean, you would know.
I have never seen one. I don't know what. I can't find the clit anywhere. No, it's just like I am in awe that somebody thought about this. Like in that way, as in like it sounds so weird. Like it sounds like such a stupid layman, but that's genuinely what I feel. When I see the way he weaves all of this together, and of course we talk about the secretions, urine, blood, wine, all of this, and also of course there's the violence part, right? They talk about how when a bull is ramming towards something, it was like it's like an act of coitus. Like it's this book is so interested in just balancing all of these different
it's like nothing is
so
sacred
inherent.
to the book. Everything, even like every single aspect of like just being is itself. There is no real like difference or like any real separation between like what is sacred and like what's
That's a great way to put it.
He sees what we may call, or like what society. I don't want to say society. But
society.
Joker too. I'm the Joker, baby. What society may call, immoral or like inappropriate or like, depraved. I don't think he sees any difference between what is depraved and what isn't. I think he sees the depraved in normal mundane stuff as like eggs and eyes, but he also sees the mundanity and normalcy in the depraved. And I think that that's like a big core of what transgression itself is. I think I kind of nudged towards it in my Eragura video, but what I was trying to get at is like this spirit to really break down all barriers, no matter how moral or immoral that is. That we see a lot of that here. And then of course the part 2, which is coincidences, which is the author himself trying to kind of psychoanalyze himself. And to see where all the weird ideas have welled up from. And I have a couple of thoughts about it. What do you think about it?
The coincidences part? I read a little bit of it. I thought it was, I didn't think it was like super essential reading. So I didn't read the part where he wrote it. I wrote the part that's like a bit after, because there's also like I guess like essays or something like interpreting the metaphor of the eye. I read that part. I did not read like his actual like accounts. Maybe you can tell me about it, because I don't.
I don't remember all of it, because I think the language itself is quite dated. So I'm not sure if I got everything exactly. One of the most important parts that I think is his relationship with his father. Obviously, did you read that part?
No, I didn't know what's happening.
So basically, he was conceived when his father was already like paralyzed. And then, growing up, his father was like always restricted to an armchair. And he would, because he's paralyzed. He's a paralytic. He can't walk or like, move his legs or most of his body, I think. He would piss right there in front of him. And he would, he recounts a very, very detailed and like, a very detailed and really not romanticized, but like really stylized description of how his father's eyes looked when he was pissing. And then he says something like most all children fall in not all children, but yeah, all children fall in love with their mothers, but I think I fell in love with my father when I was a child. But then when I was 14, that love turned into a deep-seated unconscious hatred for him. And then he also goes into how afterwards, after his father fell into lunacy, he and his mother left his father, and then she couldn't bear it. She couldn't bear leaving the life behind, and then she also went insane. And then there's this part where after a while she dies. I'm not sure if I read this correctly, but I think he jerked off beside his mother's corpse or something.
Fucking hell. Okay.
But yeah, in the coincidences, I think in the first part, it says...
What a coincidence. What a coincidence that happened now.
The story of the eye is a partly fictional thing. It's partly fictional because obviously nothing like that itself really happened, but it kind of did. He says you can like ask some of my friends and about who have read the story of the eye about how real it is, and some of the all of them will agree that a lot of it really did happen. A lot of it, as in, like, not exactly happened, but like a lot of similar things has happened to him. And he also says about, he also writes about seeing eggs and like eyes and like bull's testicles as again, all in the same light as the eye, the wonder of the eye, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very interesting because another thing is that I also I also kind of like have the no hear me out fully. I also have the tendency to psychoanalyze myself after I write something. So if you remember, I wrote that. That's the only thing I've written so far. The short story. If you remember, not the first thing, but like some of the first discussions we've had about it is me trying to like see where I have concocted the story up from, because of course, a lot of the stuff has happened to me. I haven't eaten anybody, for the record, but a lot of the similar stuff has happened to me. So it's really interesting to see how it's also a tendency of his to try and like detect where the things that he put into words actually occurred in his real life. I think that's a very interesting an artistic tendency or something, a creative tendency of like writers.
That's so interesting, because I think I have a different perspective when it comes to like my own work, because I am well, okay, you could say I need to finish something first, which is true, but like just the stuff I've written, it does feel like I know why I put it there, because I already thought about it 10 million times before I put it there. And there's also this part of like maybe this contributes to why I haven't finished anything, is that like there's little abstraction between what I want to like be put there that's a part of my life and the actual thing that happened. Like, I unless fucking this guy is, I don't know much about Bataille, but he takes these like really outlandish things that he finds a connection to his real life, just like how you haven't eaten anybody, but like you can see these like different through lines and stuff. But like to me, it's just like this happened to me, so I'll put it in. So like it wasn't like maybe I just you could be charitable and say that maybe I just find the ordinary things in my life to be already interesting enough, or you could say that I don't know how to write anything. I just want to put what my experiences into my works or something. But yeah, that was interesting to hear about for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I mean,
The things I read were
still, you know, like although yours is like almost upside down or like the other way around, it's still the same thing, right? You're still aware, or like try to be aware of how you're writing, or like, you know, I think that's a very interesting tendency, as I said, of writers.
Yeah. Maybe it's just the other way around, but the connection is still there. The stuff I read is actually just it's actually written by Roland Barthes. It's the metaphor of the eye.
Yeah, I wanted to read that, but it wasn't in my
It was fucking hard as shit to understand. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, but it was like he did connect it back to tears, right, and everything like that. There's just big words like, can I find it? There was something like syntacra. Is that a word? Something like that. I don't know. Yeah, it's well, you should know, Mr. Fucking, what is it? What did you keep saying a few weeks ago?
I'm like, no Mr. What?
No, it's the word about like something concept.
Cognizing noumena.
Yeah, cognizing noumena. You fucking. Yeah, I can't find it, but it's just the way he's writing is like, okay, I'll make some time for this. This is too hard for me, but it's very interesting how he connects everything. And he does emphasize that this work is very much about something that's not literally what it's about, and it's like the first. I mean, what else is really there, right? Like,
okay, so here comes the Lacanian, the Lacanian stuff. So recently I read more about what Lacan meant, or like again, this is this is a very beginner level interpretation and like understanding of Lacan, because Lacan and like Lacanian theory is very, very vast and deep. So please be charitable is okay if you're like a fucking PhD person watching our podcast, because of course all our audiences are PhD level 65-year-olds.
I'm sure. Shit, piss, and cum.
Yep.
I just scared a few away.
No, that's not how you scare them away. You should say, I don't know, from the
gay
screen
people.
to the ring.
From the screen to the ring to the pen to the king.
Okay. So Lacan, for Lacan, reality and real are different things. Reality is what, you know, most human subjectivity is engaged with. It's what we see, you know. Okay, I don't want to use the word see. It's what we experience, you know, on a day-to-day basis. That's a small letter R, reality. But then there's the real. The real, or like the capital R real, is basically what is underneath, but also it's not really there. As in that what is there is an absence of reality. So a big I guess aspect of real is that people experience the real. We can't really know the real, but we can experience the real. But that experience in itself is a very traumatic thing. All trauma is a form of experiencing the real, right? So think, don't think, but or like think. Think about think about a traumatic experience, a traumatic thing that happens to somebody.
Yeah, Anthony gave it an 8. Yeah, I remember.
Okay. So think about something traumatic that happens to somebody, something like really traumatic that really shakes them up and like, you know, really scars them, right? When that happens, what they're like really experiencing, like all forms of their subjectivity, all of which they thought was our, you know, small letter reality, it breaks down. And of course, for Lacan, this small letter reality, the reality that we experience in our day-to-day subjectivity is not reality, is not the real, but a combination of the symbolic and the imaginary, which do you know what that is? I think I
know what the symbolic order is, but
yeah, I mean, symbolic is basically, you know, like the rules and like
like
hyper simplifying here, but yeah, it's the structural rules and like stuff that, you know, government, the family, the institutions, etc., that basically govern how people live, how we see each other, etc. And the imaginary is how we, you know, I guess, again, how we see each other, but like it's in the form of like images, and like I'm a man, you're you're a cuck, you're weed. So for example, I think Zizek puts it very simply as imagine a chessboard, the names of the pieces, right? The knight, the rook, the king, the queen, that is the realm of the imaginary, and the ways in which they move. You know, the knight moves in an L shape, whereas the rook goes straight, etc.
That's the structure. That's the symbolic.
Yeah, that's the symbolic. And
that's
a combination.
That's a great metaphor. God damn it.
Yeah, that's Zizek.
You should write like a novel.
So yeah, that's reality. That's the reality we see. But when we experience the real, all of that breaks down. And a big trigger warning, I guess, for SA.
Yeah, for sure.
One example this is I'm quoting from a video that I saw from Plastic Pills. It's a very good that's a great channel, by the way.
Yeah, I saw some videos from Epoch Philosophy, which is a different channel, but they keep citing Plastic
I also
Pills
know
as being,
Epoch Philosophy.
super influential, and very good.
They're good. They're good channels. But Plastic Pills has a video on Lacan's Real, and in it he uses rape as an example, where someone's raped, and like in that experience of rape, everything they know as their human subjectivity breaks down. Their autonomy breaks down. How people act break down. Humanity, like, you know, morality breaks down. Everything breaks down. And after the experience, after experiencing the trauma, they're no longer the same until they can narrativize it. They can like co-opt the experience back to a narrative of their lives, and by doing so, they can get back onto the plane of reality, and thereby, I guess, somewhat come back to normalcy, I guess. But he says
like,
how
this is what happens when you like go to therapy, and people the thing people always say is that, right, you have to accept it. You have to accept your trauma, and that means fitting it back into your reality instead of being the real. Oh shit! Oh my god!
And then, but like the thing is, we can't really have any real examples of how the real looks like or like feels like, because as a thing we cannot communicate it, because it does not exist in the it cannot be represented in the realm of language, because language is a structure. It's a it is basically what we see. It's subjectivity, right? So you can't really talk, or you can't communicate it. You can simply experience it, but you have to keep in mind the real is a lack. It's not a positive thing, as in like it's not something that exists, but it's something that does not exist. It's something that isn't there. It's a lack. It's an absence. It's a presence of an absence. Anyway, I bring all of this up because I think that the story of the eye, in its like, as I said, a very highly transgressive story. It really tries to break down, even succeeds in breaking down a lot of the small reality, I guess, the subjective reality of I mean, I would say its time, but also our time, because nobody's writing about fucking inserting eyes into vaginas. Or I guess
unless
maybe.
you're like who is it? In the miso soup, it was ears into vaginas, but still, it was close.
I mean, of course, there's it's not, it cannot really be REA and the big capital real because it's still a novel and etc. etc. But I think in its spirit, I think it's still trying to deliver a breaking down of this symbolic and imaginary reality that that sustains our human subjectivity, and that's why a lot of it feels highly bizarre, almost like it's just like weird.
It's
really
bizarre,
depraved
but
shit,
also
yeah.
it's like there's no reason behind it.
Exactly,
I think that's
exactly.
intentional.
That's my point. It's so bizarre and depraved, but it just like fucking happens. There's nothing. Exactly. Okay, that's a very interesting way to describe it because there is no reason behind it, as in that what is something that has no depth, if not reality itself, or like real, right? If I say something, there's a lot of depth in my words, therefore it's not real. But when you encounter something totally real, there's nothing behind it. It's simply real. That's it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
fuck.
it's a very interesting way to put it because that's exactly what I was getting at. So
Wow.
yeah, it's a very, very cool little book. Also, trudge carefully if you want to read it.
Yeah, and it's just wow, like I don't know. I think this book, I hate the guy who likes this book a lot. The Better Than Food book reviews.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
the way
Bjork,
he's talking about
Bjork loves it. So
yeah, Bjork. There's also Bjork who is good. And just I feel like this book is going to affect how I interpret other things, and it's like definitely opened my eyes up to with the Lacanian collection as well. Like it's just like opened my eyes up to how these different things could be connected. It's really like I think essential reading for anybody who can of course like handle this kind of stuff. But this is like I would recommend it to every weirdo friend I have, which is every friend I have. So I'm very
wait, you have friends?
very glad. You're not real, Gray. That's why you don't count. You don't count. But yeah, oh my god, I think we could kind of leave it there. That was a really powerful end.
Yep, I'm powerful. I am a powerful soul.
Yeah, I like the affirmations. For recommendations for Kira's reading playlist of the week, I don't care. Listen to Night Palace by Mount Eerie.
So anyway, thank you very much for watching this video.
No,
we had a lot of fun.
I'm gonna cook. Let me cook. Let me cook.
Right?
Let me cook. Okay. So much of this masterpiece, right? If you look into the lyrics and stuff, even the music, right? It's very much about him deconstructing the last 40 years of his life and the concepts that he's been rattling with. The big thing is, well, a lot of it is about creating art itself. One of the most beautiful things I've ever heard is when he said recorded music is like a statue of a waterfall. I'm like, oh fuck. But either way, and the album is so much about how this concept of impermanence that he's been writing albums for like 20 years with. It's also just another construction. It's another construction in this endless thing that he tries to interpret, tries to put into art that he makes, but eventually he finds that what he finds is not closer to the truth. It's just more into himself. That's why his albums eventually became like how much he's sad that his wife died. Like it's beautiful. It kind of fits in this thing, I guess. I don't know. Just listen to it. Just listen to it. So yeah.
But it's like boring. So anyway. I'll give it another chance.
I mean, there might be some songs that you like more in the later.
Yeah.
But let's see. All right, thank you for watching, guys. We haven't decided on the next book, but I think it's good. It's a good sign that we've finished 2 books already on this book club, which is more than
3,
I thought.
But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, look forward to the announcements on the
community
what is it called?
page.
Community tab. Yes. We have 25 subscribers now. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's like 0 point something. I can't do math. Never mind. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching this episode of the Pale Book Club. I've been great. Fuck.
No. And I've been curious.
And see you guys next time. Look forward to my video about JoJo and Yakuza, and look forward to Gray not doing anything at all.
And look forward to me never uploading ever again.
Bye bye.
Bye.